Mike, thank you. And Baltimore has a new mayor as we enter the new year. Brandon Scott is 36 years young and takes the reins as the city faces the dual crisis of the constant crime and, of course, a pandemic.
So Denise, Koch asked him a question many might be wondering.
I guess my first question to you is, why in the world would anyone want to be mayor of the city of Baltimore in 2020?
Well, why not? And who better to be mayor than someone who has grown up in Baltimore and understands that crisis, right? That epidemic of gun violence, Denise, that has existed every year that I've taken breath, right? When I was a child, I was looked at as even as subhuman by my own city government, where I saw my first shooting before my 10th birthday, when I've lost friends. We had to make a decision early if we were going to accept that that's how life had to be, or you can do something to change it, and I clearly chose that. I thought I could be a part of the change. Since I was a child, I wanted to serve the city of Baltimore. There's nothing else that I've ever wanted to do.
So people who talk about the two Baltimores, you know what they're talking about.
Absolutely. I always tell folks we have two Baltimores. The Baltimore that everyone knows and loves, Camden Yards, the Harbor, Harbor East, Roland Park, and then the forgotten Baltimore. I grew up in the forgotten Baltimore, so it's different for me.
And at a certain point, almost all issues, do they not come back to that fundamental thing? If you don't have enough to survive in your daily life, it creates just all the other problems the city's facing.
There's no difference, Denise, really from me than some of the folks that I grew up and went to Malcolm X Primary and Dr. King Elementary School in Park Heights, other than they were coming to school hungry. Their parents weren't there. Their parents were dealing with substance abuse issues or were in prison, right? That's why folks always hear me talk about, yes, we will focus on the immediacy of violence by focusing on violent groups and actors and guns, but we also have to deal with the complete picture. And the complete picture means providing opportunities for people to provide for their families through education.
There are people sitting at home tonight who have lost their job, who have lost people they love. This is a very dark time, and there are a lot of people hurting right now. As mayor, what can you say to give people a sense of hope?
The first thing I'll say, Denise, is that I feel their pain. I know that we all of us have struggled through this year of 2020 with this pandemic, and really it's exacerbated things that have existed in our city for a long time. But what I want the residents of Baltimore to hear and hear very clearly is that we are Baltimore. Whenever we are counted out, we always come back. Because what I see right now, in the midst of all this despair, is the hope. When we see the community groups that are working and partnering with the city to help feed people, when we can see folks who are keeping their employees on even though they know it's struggling, that's the hope. You can see the hope in the eyes of the people, and we will unlock that hope to make Baltimore a better place in 2021 and beyond.
And you believe that next year will be better than this year?
I know that next year will be better than this year.
All right, I'm coming to you here from my home in Baltimore City. We're about to have a new year with a new mayor from a new generation. So I'm with him. Here's to next year being better than last. I'm going with what he said. By the way, Rick and Nicole, I did ask him about his hairdo, which a whole lot of people pay a lot of attention to, and he gave me some very interesting responses. And you can find that conversation on our website, WJZ.com.